welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to do a flow that focuses on reversing all the bad side effects from sitting at your desk and maybe hunching over, looking at your computer screen. We're going to open up the chest, open up the heart, open up the front of our hips, and hopefully improve our posture and feel better from having better posture. All right, we will start in a comfortable seated position. You can sit cross-legged if you'd like, or you can sit like I am up on a block. If you have a little bit of extra height under your hips, it will help at the beginning to give you just a little bit more range of motion as we get warmed up. So we'll go ahead and get started. Feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze, and we will start with some deep breathing. Become aware of the breath. Notice the inhales and the exhales. Notice how they feel. Notice the length. Notice the temperature. And then start to lengthen the breath. So if you were breathing 1, 2, 3 counts in, just add one more count. And then exhale for the same amount of time. Last time, inhale fully. Hold the inhale. Maybe take one more small sip of air. And then exhale, big sigh. Close the lips and continue breathing through the nose. Maybe not quite as big of an inhale and an exhale, but still focusing on having nice long breaths, evenly balanced, so the same amount of time inhaling, same amount of time exhaling. Feel free to add the Ujjayi breath if that is something that's in your practice. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. On your next inhale, sweep the hands up and over, gently tapping the palms. And then exhale, arms cactus open. Open up the heart. Inhale here. On an exhale, bring the palms and if you can, the forearms and the elbows together in front of you, rounding the upper back. Inhale, open. Exhale, round, and maybe bow forward slightly, swooping the belly button in. Inhale, open. Exhale, round, squeeze the abdomen, press the air out. Inhale, last time, open. Exhale, round, maybe bringing the elbows towards the knees. Inhale, back all the way up. Exhale, as you release the hands, gentle twist to one side. Inhaling, reaching through the crown of the head. Exhaling, maybe looking just a tiny bit farther behind you. On your next inhale, both hands come back up to center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Again, remember, it's your choice whether the eyes are opened or closed. Find lots of length with every inhale, and exhale, ease into the twist. Not too much intensity yet, as we're just warming up. On the next inhale, hands come back up towards the sky. And then exhale, release the hands and come up onto all fours. If you were sitting on a block, go ahead and put the block off to the side. And extend one leg behind you, tucking the toes and gently easing the back of the knee towards the sky or the ceiling. And then give yourself a couple of rocks, either forward or back, or maybe a few ankle circles, just to allow the blood to flow back into the knee from sitting in hero's pose. It can be pretty intense in your knees. Go ahead and switch. Opposite leg extends behind. Very, very gently easing the back of the knee towards the sky. And then maybe adding a little bit of movement in the ankle and toes. Release that knee back down, coming to tabletop. Tuck your toes, and let's gently lift the hips, coming into our first downward facing dog. Maybe walking the heels, one heel at a time, towards the ground, warming up the back of the legs. And then find stillness, gently pressing both heels evenly towards the ground. It's fine if the knees are bent, especially since this is our first downward facing dog. Focus on extending through the tailbone, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And as you get warmed up, then you can start to extend the legs. Take an inhale. And on an exhale, gently step forward, coming into forward fold. Go ahead and heel toe the feet wide, slightly wider than the hips, and then relax, maybe wrapping the hands around the elbows, letting the weight of the upper body pull you forward. Again, knees bent is a great option for the beginning of class. If it feels good, feel free to add a sway, or maybe a figure eight with the elbows and hands. Really make sure you're relaxing the head, releasing the neck, so you're not looking at your toes, instead you're looking behind you in between your knees. Come back to center, release the hands, and heel toe the feet back together. On an exhale, roll up, nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, really using the core for strength. And then give yourself a big shoulder roll. Hands come to your heart center. Inhale. Exhale, gently fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping back, plank. And then we're gonna slowly lower again. Go as slow as you can. Knees can be on the ground. If they're not on the ground, make sure you're engaging all the way through the front of the body. Not just in the abs, but also in the quads. Release down, and this time hands come next to your sides. Lift up into locust pose. So we're gonna be playing with locust a lot, so you'll have quite a few opportunities to take this in a variety of ways. Feel free to take it in whatever version is your favorite. You don't have to follow along with me, but we do want to engage the upper back so that we can open up the heart and have the strength for good posture when we're sitting at our desk, or more importantly, when we leave our desk. Go ahead and release back down. Hands come under the shoulders, engage the abs and push up to plank, and then back to down dog. Inhale, pick up one foot, and this time we're going to stack the hips and allow that foot to hang heavy. Notice the foot is gently opening up the hips, but you're not letting the shoulders follow suit. So the shoulders and the hands are still evenly pressed towards the ground. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, gently step the foot through, back heel to the ground. But this time we're going to windmill up to warrior two. Find warrior two, find stability, find balance. Again, making sure this front knee is not rolling forward. And then to engage the upper body, we're going to flip the palms up, and on an exhale, squeeze the elbows towards the midline, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Release. Exhale, squeeze. Release. Exhale, squeeze. One more time. Release. And squeeze. Go ahead and release. And this time on the exhale, reverse your warrior. Keeping the shoulder open, keeping the front leg bent. And on your next exhale, roll the upper body into extended side ankle. You can start with the elbow on the knee. If you have a little bit more range of motion in the front hip, you can release those fingertips to the ground. And then let's take the floating hand and wrap it behind us, maybe reaching into the hip of the front leg, or if it's in your practice, you can try for a bind. Really intense shoulder opener if you're bound, so listen to your body. Feel free to grab a strap if you can't reach your fingers. Release the hands, and on an exhale, extend the front leg and reverse triangle. Just one breath here, and then we're going to float forward into half moon. Feel free to stay here in half moon, or again, using a strap, or if you can reach, maybe grabbing a hold of the floating leg, coming into Chapasana. Feel free to put a block underneath the grounded hand. I personally find that I'm less stable with a block, but for a lot of you, it'll help bring the floor up and make it a little bit easier to reach. Gently release your hold on the floating foot and step back, warrior two. Take a breath, and then on an exhale, round down. Remember, chaturanga is up to you. You can skip it. You can go straight to down dog. That's where we're headed. Opposite side, inhale, the foot floats up. Bend the knee. Pretend like there's a little weight with a string on your big toe, and that weight is pulling the foot over, opening up the hip. But again, shoulders stay square to the ground. On your next inhale, extend the leg back to the sky. Exhale, step it through, coming into warrior two. Take a moment to settle. And then when you're ready, flip the palms. On an exhale, engage the upper back. Inhale, release. Exhale, engage, and release. Twice more. Last time. Strengthening the back and opening the heart. On your next exhale, reverse your warrior, resting the back hand on your calf or your thigh, but trying to avoid the knee. And then on an exhale, extended side angle. Remember, you have options here, so you can stay right here with a lot more room to open up the shoulder, look towards the sky. Or maybe you'd like to extend the fingertips to the ground. Or maybe you would like to start to open the top shoulder, either reaching behind or going for the bind. If you're going for the bind, make sure that you're still stacking the shoulders and rolling the upper body back on top of the leg, rather than letting the body roll forward just so that you can grab the hands. If you're doing that, then you are eliminating the purpose of opening up the shoulder. Good, go ahead and release. And on an exhale, reverse triangle. Shifting forward, finding your balance, coming into half moon. Starting with half moon, find stability. And then if it's available to you, reaching for the floating foot. Once you have a hold of the foot, or if you've wrapped a strap around the foot, push the foot into the hand, open up the hip flexor of that floating leg. Gently release, soften the knee of the standing leg, and step back, warrior two. Taking an inhale, and then exhale, windmill the hands down, and choose to take a vinyasa or skip it. Three breaths and down dog. And then shift your weight forward and gently come all the way onto the ground. We're going to come into a really intense shoulder stretch. So bring your hands to a T. Make sure you remove all of your obstacles. And then we're going to roll over onto one shoulder, stacking your hips, keeping your opposite hand for support, or making it more intense by bringing that top foot behind you and opening up your hip flexor a little bit. If you still want more, take your floating hand or your top hand and bring it behind. Maybe reach towards the fingertips that are on the mat. I've only seen like 2 people that can interlock their fingers, so if you can do that, great, but my joints are definitely not made for that. Good, wherever you are, we're going to very carefully roll back to center, so support yourself with your hand or your floating leg, readjust, opposite arm extends, and gently roll yourself onto the other side. Again, support with your top hand in front of you, if that feels good. If you want more, top leg reaches behind. Take a breath or two here before you move on.
We want to check in and see how we're feeling before we add on. But if you are feeling good and you would like to add a little bit more, opening through the heart and the shoulders, maybe the top hand reaches behind as well. Part of the beauty of the breath in yoga is to slow it down and notice how one variation of a pose feels before you just systematically move on or add on. We want to really be in touch with how things feel so that if we do need more or we want less, we are making conscious decisions for our body. Go ahead and make your way back to center. And then gently push up. And let's find just a brief child's pose, just for a moment. If it's too much on the shoulders, maybe bring the hands to your heels. And then roll yourself up to upright. And however you'd like to get there, either crossing the legs and sitting back or swinging the legs around to the side, we are going to make our way onto our backs. So go nice and slow. Let's engage our core one last time. Let's go down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the shoulders and the head to the ground, and then walk the feet a little bit closer to your hips. We're going to push up into our first of a few bridge poses. So make this one nice and gentle. Lift the hips towards the sky, making sure that the neck is neutral so we're not putting too much pressure, pushing the back of the neck into the ground, but we're also not trying to jut the chin out or reach the eyes up towards the top, or I guess the bottom of our mat. Just a neutral neck. Exhale, squeeze the abs and roll the spine down one vertebrae at a time. Take a breath. And then we're going to push up again and add a little intensity if you want. If you want to start backing it down, you can go for a supported bridge with a block underneath your hips. But if you would like to add on with me, push the hips up, and then we're going to roll the shoulders under and interlock the fingers. One more breath. Release the hands and exhale. Everyone will roll back down. And then let's bring our knees to our chest and go ahead and rock the whole body side to side, not just the knees, but rock onto each shoulder blade. Come back to center and open the knees wide to either side of your upper body. Grab a hold of the soles of the feet and find happy baby. Think about rolling the tailbone towards the ground, rolling the shoulders towards the ground. So without really pulling on the feet, you're adding intensity just by thinking about lengthening the spine and letting the spine mold into the ground. From here, bring the soles of the feet together and wrap your hands around the soles of the feet. And then let the weight of the feet start to drop towards the hips. And let the weight of the feet drop towards the hands. And you'll notice a couple of things here. You'll notice a little bit more intensity in the inner hips and thighs as the weight of the feet naturally pulls towards your hips. And then you might notice some lengthening of the neck and the top of the shoulders as the weight of the feet drops into the hands. Should feel really good, especially if you're like me, hunched over a computer with your ears or your shoulders to your ears all the time. And then go ahead and release some of that intensity in the hands. Release the hands and let the feet drop towards the ground, knees wide, coming into reclined butterfly or reclined goddess. If this is too much on your hips, you can always add a block, or if you don't have blocks, you can put your fists underneath your thighs just to feel supported. We're going to transition to Shavasana, but before we do, please feel free to take any final poses that feel good for you and where your body is at today. And then we'll go ahead and extend the legs one leg at a time, coming into Shavasana. And go ahead and settle in, maybe tucking the shoulder blades under the body, allowing the feet to roll open, allowing the hands to soften, fingertips curl. And then I want you to scan your body. Remember, today's class was about reversing the negative effects of a desk job or being seated a lot. And so I want you to notice, with the body flat on the ground, how does it feel? Are you able to lie here with more ease because the shoulders and the hips are more willing to relax open? Are you able to feel tall and long while you're supported against the ground? Start to release your awareness of the body and just relax. Release any control that you may have had over the breath and allow the body to recover. We'll be here for another minute or two. I will let you know when it's time to sit up. But remember, this is your practice, so if you would like to stay here for much longer, go right ahead and enjoy all the benefits of your practice in this final pose, Shavasana.
Slowly start to become aware of the body again. Be aware of your ability to move, starting with the extremities, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe a few circles. And then wherever you are at, gently roll yourself over onto one side, supporting your head with your shoulder or a towel. And then make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you feel better posture. I hope you feel taller, more confident. Thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.